Hey friends, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to make my Jacob's Ladder Christmas ornament cover. So this is just a fun, simple pattern that features the Jacob's Ladder stitch. And if you're not familiar with the Jacob's Ladder stitch, it is basically just a series of chains that are all linked together at the end. So today I'm using Heartland worsted yarn from Lion Brand in this color palette. I am making all of my Christmas ornaments this year using this color palette. I will make sure to link all 5 of these colors in the description of this video. You're also going to need a 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and a tape measure. And for your ornament, you're going to need a 3.15-inch clear Christmas ornament. I got these in a package of 12 off of Amazon, so I'll make sure to link this below. Alternatively, you can use one of those the styrofoam ornaments that you get from Michaels or Joann. Just make sure it's at least 3 inches in diameter. All right, so to get started, we're going to make a foundation chain of 19. And once you've done that, we're going to work into the second chain from the hook, and we're going to work just a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. Make sure you're working this on the looser end. And now we're going to work another slip stitch in the next chain. Again, just working that slip stitch loosely. And now we're going to work 8 double crochet stitches, 1 in each of the next 8 chains. And now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 12. And now we're going to work back into this double crochet that we just made. We're going to just make a slip stitch into this same double crochet we just made. And that's going to form this loop, this chain loop here. So we're just going to leave this alone for now and continue working down our foundation chain. To finish up, we are going to work 1 double crochet in each of the next 6 chains. And once you've completed those 6 chains, you should only have 2 chains left here at the very end. We're going to work 1 slip stitch in each of these last 2 chains. Again, remember to work these slip stitches loosely. And then chain 1 and turn your work. And your final stitch count for this very first row should be 4 slip stitches, 14 double crochet stitches, and 1 chain 12 loop. So for row 2, I'm going to give you just a quick overview of how row 2 is going to look. We're going to work under the back loops for the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to work under both loops as we normally do for the next 14 stitches, and then in the last 2 stitches we're going to go back to working in just the back loop only. And we will not be making a loop on this row. So to get started, we're going to work a slip stitch in each of these first 2 stitches, but again, we're only going to work into the back loop, keeping those slip stitches nice and loose so they're easy to work into once we come back to them. And now working under both loops, again, we're going to work 14 single crochet stitches. Now when you get to this chain 12 loop, you're just going to kind of push it out of the way and work every stitch all the way across. So again, we're working under both loops again, and we're going to make 14 single crochet stitches. And once you get to that loop, again, you're just going to push this out of the way. I just made a single crochet in the very last stitch right before this loop, and here is the next stitch, and just pushing that out of the way. And then I'll just finish the rest of my 14 single crochet stitches. And once you've worked 14 single crochet stitches, that should leave you with 2 stitches on the end here. We're going to go back to working in the back loop only, and we're going to work 1 slip stitch in each of these last 2 stitches. Again, in the back loop. And then chain 1. And turn, and your final stitch count for this second row should be 4 slip stitches and 14 single crochet stitches. So row 3 is basically going to be a repeat of the first row. So we're going to start by working 1 slip stitch in each of these first 2 stitches in the back loop. And now we're going to work 8 double crochet stitches, working under both loops now. Now, once you've completed those 8 double crochet stitches, we're going to make another chain 12 loop. So go ahead and chain 12. And then to form a loop, we're going to make a slip stitch. We're going to work back into this double crochet that we just made, joining with a slip stitch, and then that'll form our loop. And now to continue on, we are going to work 6 double crochet stitches. Once you've completed those 6 double crochets, you should be left with just 2 stitches at the very end here. We're going to work into the back loops of these last 2 stitches, and we're going to just make 1 slip stitch in each of these last 2 stitches. And chain 1, turn your work, and now your final stitch count for row 3 should be 4 slip stitches, 14 double crochet stitches, and 1 chain 12 loop. Now these loops, you're just going to leave them like this right now. We're going to put them all together at the end. At the end, we'll go through and we'll link them all together like this. But for right now, you're just going to let them kind of hang out here on the front of our work. And now row 4 is going to be a repeat of row 2, where we worked the single crochet stitches. So in these first 2 stitches here, we're going to work a slip stitch in the back loop only. And now working under both loops again, we're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 14 stitches. Again, when you get to that chain 12 loop, you're just going to push it out of the way and keep working across. Now I've gotten to my loop. I'm just going to push this out of the way and just keep working across. Once you've completed those 14 single crochet stitches, you should only have 2 stitches left at the end here. We're going to go back to working in the back loops, and we're just going to work 1 slip stitch in the back loop of each of these last 2 stitches. And chain 1. Oops. And turn your work. And now your final stitch count for row 4 should be 4 slip stitches and 14 single crochet stitches. So I am going to leave you for a little bit. What you're going to do is you're going to put me on pause, and you are going to repeat the last 2 rows we just worked. Okay, so you're going to repeat this row 3 with our chain 12 loop, and then row 4 with the single crochet stitches. You're going to continue alternating rows 3 and 4, 3 and 4, all the way until you have 24 rows total. And this should measure about 8.5 inches right in the center here by our loops. So let's just give that a quick measure and make sure that it's all looking all right. And I don't know if you can see that, but that is right about 8.5 inches there. I've got it as close as I can to the loops here. So before we seam this up, we do need to put all of our loops together. So I just take the two bottom ones here. I'm going to take the second one and insert that through the first one, and then I'm just going to repeat that all the way up. Now, once you've looped them all together, you're going to just leave this top one for now. We are going to tack it down, but we're going to, we've got to seam up these sides first, and then after we've done that, then we'll just kind of tack it down to our very first loop here. So go ahead and grab your tapestry needle, because right now we're going to seam these sides up together. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead and fasten off, but make sure to leave a tail long enough for sewing, because we are going to use this tail to sew up or to seam up the side. Now thread your tapestry needle with that tail, and now we're just going to seam this with the right side facing up, facing us, and I just do a simple whip stitch all the way across. So just make sure you're inserting your hook through both through the stitches on both sides here. And again, I just do a simple whip stitch from front to back all the way across. Now, once you've whip stitched all the way across, you can go ahead and fasten off, and then I just save the tail because I'm going to use it to just tack this last loop down. So you'll just go in from the inside, and I try to tack it down, you know, right up here on the inside of that first loop. And I just do just a couple stitches. So that's one, and then come up again, up through here, and then back down through the center of that other loop. So now that you've got your last loop secured, you can just go ahead and I just secure this on the inside and trim up the ends. And you can just cut the ends after you've secured that and just leave them inside. There's no need to weave them in since they're going to be on the inside of the ornament anyways. Now, before we place our ornament inside, we're going to go ahead and cinch up the bottom. And there is a definitive bottom and a top. So if you notice, we did make one side a little longer, one side of these loops longer than the other side. And the longer side, the side where we made 8 double crochet stitches and then made our loop, that's the side that needs to be on the bottom. And that's the end that we're going to cinch up first. So go ahead and cut a length of yarn. It does not have to be very long, probably just 12 inches will be enough. And thread that onto your tapestry needle. And again, we're going to cinch up the end that is longer. This is the part that's going to go around the bottom of our ornament, and then this is going to go around the top. So we're cinching up the longer end, the end where we made 8 double crochet stitches. And now you're just going to, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of weave our tapestry needle in and out all the way around the bottom here and then pull it closed at the end. So just weaving your tapestry needle in and out along these bottom stitches here. And once you've made it all the way around the bottom here, you're just going to pull this closed. And then I'm just going to secure these ends, and I'm going to just pull them inside with my not my tapestry needle, with my crochet hook. Again, there's really no reason to weave in ends because we can just pop them all inside. So I just go in with my crochet hook out the bottom there and just pull them, both of these ends inside. All right, so now it's time to grab your ornament, and we're just going to place it inside of our cover here. We're just going to cut another length of yarn, and again, it's not does not need to be super long. About 12 inches should be plenty. And then just thread that onto your tapestry needle. And now we're going to do the same thing around the top of our ornament here. We're just going to go in with our tapestry needle and kind of weave it in and out all the way around. And once you've made it all the way around again, you'll just cinch the top closed, and you can secure it here with your other end. And if you've watched any of my other Christmas ornament tutorials, you know that I am not interested in weaving in ends at all. So we're just going to, I insert my hook somewhere in the middle of the ornament and then just kind of pull everything down through. And that's it. Your Jacob's Ladder Christmas ornament is finished and ready to put on your tree. Thank you so much for making this with me. I hope you found this tutorial easy and helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!